everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Trash Talking and Giving Back podcast. I'm Erin-cofiell-barker. This is Joe Sinagra, my lovely co-host, does it all over at Myers Containers up in Colchester. Joe, what's been going on, buddy?
Well, things here at Myers are going well. Trucks are out and rolling every day, which is nice. We're having some luck hiring new employees. So anyone listening, if they know somebody or wants to come work, we're still hiring, but we are having some luck bringing some new people on. So that's always a positive, which is great. How about yourself, Erin? How's your week been going?
My week's been pretty good. It's been very hot, but there's a pool nearby that I'm able to use. And so that's helpful. Having young children, we go to school and pick them up, and then we can come home and go in the pool. Helps. Yesterday, I went to pick up Jack at daycare, and 3 parents approached me in the parking lot because they watched a kid throw dirt in Jack's face.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. And I was like, oh, my poor mama heart. And so by the time I get back there, of course, he's like fine and moved on. But I was also like dying to know. I'm like, well, what did he do? Did he get mad back? Did he just clamor up? At what age am I supposed to start worrying about my kid sticking up for himself?
Well, I have a list of people who are dead to me. You could start a list. A lot of people who have done wrong to my kids or to me, there's a list that they're dead to me.
Well, that's what's funny about daycare these days is when they can't talk yet, right? If a kid gets bit, they just say a friend bit them. But now when they can talk, you can be like, who did that? And to Jack's credit, he went, I don't know. And I was like, Jack, you know who threw dirt in your face? I don't know. And I'm like, are you really trying to defend them or stick up for them right now? But he was fine. Nothing that can't be solved without a little love from mom and a bath right when we get home to get the dirt out of his face.
Well, there you go. No ice cream. You got to give him a little ice cream.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, he has a popsicle every night. He literally, as soon as Ellie, the older one, goes to bed, he knows it's time for him to have a pop. So some nights he'll be watching a show and he'll be like, "Where's baby Ellie?" I'm like, "She's not in bed yet. Hang
That's
on."
Great.
The little routines they get used to, right?
That's great. I love it.
It's crazy. What well, you had Spencer's, your son's, Spencer's birthday last week, a little family day.
We did. Finally, after 5 years, my son moved back to Vermont after graduating college, and like you, escaping Connecticut, he had enough of the Nutmeg State, so moved back to Vermont. So it was nice. First birthday we spent with him in a long time, so it was nice to have that. My youngest daughter is a little mortified at her job. She had a shoplifter, and the owner of her store posted the video of the woman. You very clearly see her shoplifting, and so my daughter was mortified. And I said, "Oh, because you feel bad somebody stole while you were working?" She goes, "No, my hair didn't look well, and I didn't look." And so I said, "Well, okay, but it's okay."
Oh, that's adorable though.
Yes.
The video is going viral and everyone is sharing it. Just look at the shoplifter and my hair doesn't look good.
And that's what she said.
Worried that they're like, why aren't you doing anything about seeing this person shoplift? I saw someone shoplift once. I was at one of the big box stores here in Williston, and we all watched this woman just go out with her cart, and hired security officer they had there didn't do anything either. He's like, no, a random patron's like, should I go chase after them? And they're like, no, we can't do anything about it. We just have to call the police. We're like, what?
Yeah. Well, it's a very small boutique type store, so it's just her there alone. So she was always a little nervous about being alone, but yes, 19-year-old girl problem is, I don't look good on the surveillance tape.
I love that. I think I know the story you're talking about. I think I saw the video online. I'm going to have to go back and watch it because I did not realize it was your daughter. Yes. It's a great little store. But I guess, right, I'm glad that they were stealing products and didn't come up to the register and try to get her to
Exactly. And they posted this online. The funny thing is the owner took a selfie with the alleged shoplifter in the past because she liked the outfit or something that the alleged shoplifter had. So the owner actually also posted the selfie. So not only the surveillance, but also the selfie with the alleged shoplifter.
So that answers a question, because I saw this and then it was the shoplifter in one outfit and then this photo of them in another outfit, and I was very confused, and someone, right, I read the comments, we talked about it to try to figure out what was going on, and someone said, like, I'm confused, but that makes sense.
Yes. So it's so that's been the hotbed issue in the Sinagra household this last few days.
You got to make sure she looks good when she heads out the door, just in case someone's going to come in and shoplift again.
Exactly.
I like it.
So
I like it. All right, shall we talk some kind of trash here?
we should absolutely.
All right, let's talk about construction debris, right? We always see things getting built, and you kind of, I feel like in my brain, right, it's almost just like, oh, I see all the pieces, and then you see a house, and like you assume everything that came in went into the house, but that's not how it works. There's a lot of debris that comes into it, and that's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, as we talked about before, often, Vermont only has one landfill. So, even when you bring stuff here to our operation in Colchester or one of the transfer stations around the state, everything ultimately ends up in Coventry. And with one landfill, you only have so much space and stuff takes time to break down. So, about 5 years ago, the state of Vermont banned 5 construction debris items from the landfill. So it's now against the law to dispose of in the landfill sheetrock, cardboard, wood, concrete, and metal. Sort of the 5 big things that come out of a construction project. Now, the caveat on all of this is it has to be more than 20 cubic yards, and it has to be within 20 miles of a recycling facility for it to be banned. So
Okay.
if you're doing your bathroom remodel, and you're pulling out a little sheetrock, that can still go in the trash. But what the state was trying to eliminate is large volumes of, the big neighborhood being built, by your house in Williston. All of that waste that is produced, they don't want that going to the landfill. They would like that to be repurposed. So we, Myers Container, opened a construction recycling facility here in Colchester. So those items come back here to our facility to be turned into other products, and what's one of the interesting things is, you take sheetrock, for example. When sheetrock gets wet, it puts off a terrible odor that sound a sulfur smell or a rotten egg smell. So, that's a lot of that odor that you smell when you go to a landfill or a transfer station, that rotten egg smell. Well, that's actually oxidized sheetrock. So sheetrock's one of the big culprits that we're trying to pull out.
So when you do like a big project like that, and then you guys take all of this to your facility in Colchester, but then what do you do with it? Or what does sheetrock turn into? Or what does it all get recycled into being?
So I brought a cool little prop here.
Oh, wow.
This was, let me go the other way. This was sheetrock not too long ago.
Wow.
This is a green deodorizer. So this you can use in things like when something is spilled on the ground and you clean it up, but you still have that leftover odor. So you can turn into, odorizer that way. We also use quickie dry. So when you spill oil or things of that sort. So sheetrock comes, the paper on the sheetrock is pulled off of it. The paper is turned into bedding for animals, so for pigs and chickens and things of that sort. And then the center, the actual sheetrock itself, is crushed down, mixed, and turned into, in this case, a deodorizer. So that's the big part of it. All wood is brought in, so both clean wood and what's considered dirty wood. So dirty wood is like plywood and that type of stuff, painted wood. Wood comes in, we chip it down into much smaller pieces, and then it's pressed into pressboard. And then some of it's turned into like that cheap furniture you might buy from Walmart or Target or something like that, the pressboard. So the wood is turned into pressboard, which is nice. Obviously, metal is melted down and turned back into metal. Metal, that's been happening for a long time. Same thing with cardboard. Cardboard is, just broken down, turned back into it. And then we've talked about shingles in the past, where shingles is processed and turned into either asphalt or chips for bike paths and golf carts and things of that sort.
So like you guys literally, like how much of that process is done right there in Colchester?
So we do it all the way up to, we process it all. We just don't turn
Okay,
it into the final product. So
got
the
it.
wood is chipped down here, the sheetrock is processed, the metal is processed. What we don't do is we don't produce that final product. So that final, in the case of Quickie Dry or those things, that's brought to a third party who then turns it into it. Same thing, the shingles we process all the way through to the mix. So if it's turning into asphalt, we bring the chipped processed shingles to, a asphalt plant that then ultimately turns it into the asphalt. So
And so I know you'd mentioned that really the law is only, sorry, not the law. It is the law. I don't know air quotes. The law is that the larger quantities can't go to the landfill and have to go to a recycling center. However, as we know, a lot of Vermonters, I think, would still love to
yeah,
recycle theirs just if they knew it's something that they shouldn't be bringing where
right.
they currently are. So people could just bring it to Myers and then you
Yeah,
guys take it and process it there.
we sure do. So we get a lot of people every day coming in, weekend warriors, people who are doing the bathroom or doing their basement or whatever. They come in because, you're probably like me, Erin. My trash totes are full every week. I don't really have a lot of extra space every week. So most people are that way too. So when they're doing that project, they're not throwing the sheetrock, they're not throwing the wood scraps in their trash tote because they don't have the space. So a lot of people are looking for an avenue to get rid of it. So we get a lot of people showing up in their pickup trucks all the way down. We had a Tesla on the scales this week with the trunk was full of wood scraps and stuff. So we get the whole range of people, all the way to the bigger contractors, the roofers. We have this time of the year a lot of people are having their roofs done, so we have a lot of shingles that are coming through. And then as the weather changes, we get into more of the interior stuff. So the sheetrock and the plywood and 2x4s and stuff like that.
Feels like a good time to do a plug for like the dumpster rollouts and things like that that you do for people who may be doing a home remodel. How does
Yeah.
that work?
Yeah, so we have 5 different sizes, so they're all done by yardage. We're dumb Americans, so we're not, like the rest of the world when it comes to our yardage or our mathematics.
They're
Uh,
not by metrics.
our metrics. But we have as small as 4 yards, which are like those dumpsters you might see behind a restaurant and stuff. So a 4 yard dumpster is about 4 feet by 4 feet by 4 feet. It's really made for small bathroom jobs, cleaning out your garage, things of that sort. And then they go up 6 yards, 15, 20, and 30 yards. 30 yards are those great big, what we call roll-offs, 27 feet long, 6 feet wide, 8 feet tall, or 8 feet wide, 6 feet tall. Those are for larger construction jobs, but homeowners cleaning stuff out. We get a lot of people who are spring cleaning or fall cleaning. They're purchasing a home, stuff of that sort. So we're pride ourselves on our quick turnaround at Myers. So we're 24 hours turnaround. So you call today, you can have a container tomorrow at your house.
Even with the
Uh,
weekend?
so Monday through Friday,
Okay.
we
Okay.
deliver. So if you call on Thursday, we get it Friday. But the nice thing is we can also turn those over pretty quickly. So like most people, you think, oh, I can only fill one of those, and then you start, pulling more out, pulling more out, pulling more out. So we can dump what we call dump and return. So it's great. It's great. It's more and more people are going that route because they're trying to either prepare a house to sell or a loved one passed away, so they're cleaning out their parents' house or whatever. So it's an important function that we're all providing here.
Are those like a flat fee or how does the payment work for those?
Yeah, so what we do a flat rate. So depending on where you're going, because of course we're coming out of Colchester, so Colchester Williston's going to be cheaper than Montpelier or Sheffield or Rutland. But yeah, you get a flat rate, which includes the delivery, the removal, and then the first ton of waste. Because most people on a home clean out might be a ton of stuff. And then if you're over a ton, it's okay. You just pay a little bit more for that. So you have kind of some cost certainty going into it. So I'm going to be around this amount of money, $800,
Yeah.
$900. But
Cool.
we allow people to keep them for a week or 10 days, so you can get 2 weekends to clean stuff out. And we find that giving people a time frame actually helps them because it forces them to do it because they know the container is going to be removed next Monday. So you can't.
I think they don't just end up with a dumpster just in their driveway forever and ever.
Right. People have good intentions, but then they decide they got to go to a concert or something, and they don't end up cleaning it out.
I feel like I have like a funny memory when I was younger. I had like the standard grandfather who always talked about how the movies were a nickel and all of that. And I feel like there was a dumpster one time that he had, but they'd like thrown a rug in it or something, and then it rained. And so then it got really heavy and he got charged a lot and was like not happy about it.
Yeah, and that it is an issue, especially in all years, but in the winter too, because it snows, and then But we've had customers who get inside and shovel the snow out, or try to
I'm not paying for this.
Now, of course, they're not watertight, so when it does rain, it does leak out and everything. But yes, you do have some,
I mean, it happens. Make sure you shut the lid. Make sure you shut the lid, and then you won't have that problem.
And also remember, that a heavier container means less gas mileage for the truck moving it. So it's not just we're making more money, it's costing us more money to move that container too. And in Vermont, you have laws about how heavy a container can be. So heavier container, we run the risk of, and a homeowner, of course, isn't sitting there calculating every pound going in it. So our drivers have to kind of estimate when they're picking it up, is this can going to be too heavy or not to move?
That's interesting because I never thought of that concept, right? Like as just a normal homeowner, you would just be like, oh, it's like when you go to the airport and you're like, oh, my bag's over 50 pounds and they're going to charge me more. Like, why? Just because it's heavy? But it's like, no, it's the trickle down effect. Like if everyone's bag was extra heavy, well, now it's going to make the plane need more fuel to be more efficient, blah, blah, blah. It's not just that you're like breaking somebody's back along the way because you pack too much stuff.
Right. Exactly. So, and that's what, frankly, it's stuff I didn't understand until I came to work here. I didn't understand all the nuances. I didn't understand, like, you can't throw, like we see a lot of times this year, people throwing away old propane tanks from the gas grill. They get a new grill. And before I worked here, I never understood, well, what's the big deal? Throw it away. It's garbage. But then you realize what happens when stuff goes in the back of a trash truck and it's crushed up. Well, when you're crushed up an old propane tank, that might not be completely empty, not very safe.
Although when you get those Party City ones, or now they're just at like Target, you are supposed to throw those ones in the trash, and that just doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, because helium isn't as bad as propane.
Got it. I think it's just that it's like this sturdy container that you feel like, no, like it should be brought back to someone to refill. That could be a business for us, Joe. We'll just take them and refill them. Where do you get helium from? We'll just get a big old tank and then refill the little tanks.
Well, helium's in very high demand right now. It's very hard to find helium.
Have you watched the show Stick on Apple TV?
I have not.
Oh, you should. It's a good one. It's Owen Wilson. There's golf, but there's a bit about the mom wants to like invest in helium. So
we're currently watching Friends and Neighbors, not to sidetrack.
Oh, that's a good one.
Have you watched it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little, I didn't understand going into it. I think we were watching because my wife likes John Hamm, but I was turning to her and I said, "You gotta give me a little like advance notice." I didn't realize how racy it is. Not that I'm a prude by any stretch, but it definitely caught me off guard a little bit. We're only on third or fourth season.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that one, and I'm not a big I don't like scary like guns like actiony stuff, but like
I'm wrong. We finished Friends and Neighbors. That's not the one that I'm talking about, racy. The one where, and I can't think of the name now. They move. He's an architect and he moves to Texas, and the other character is going to run for governor of Texas. And they're all the shenanigans that go around it. Yeah. So it's basically all the women are swingers. But with each other. So they're all married, but all the women are swinging with the other women.
Wow. So your wife was just looking out for you, but this is a family podcast, so we're gonna move on now.
Yeah, we'll move on. I'm just saying it's but it's Apple TV.
It's fair. That means it's fair game. Okay, I think it's time. Well, anything else on construction debris as I circle us back to to the topic of today's podcast?
No.
Okay. I just saw our producer type something and I thought he was going to come in hot with the name of the show, but he just wrote wow instead. You'll have to give him the name of it later.
Yes, I'll have to look it up.
All right. Time for Trashy or Not. What do we have for us this week?
So Trashy or Not. With me recently helping my son move back to Vermont, I saw this, and maybe I did it also. So you go to a gas station to fill up your car, and you decide that you need a drink, a coffee, a snack, or whatever it may be. Finish filling up your car, but then leaving your car in the gas lane and going into the store to purchase whatever you're purchasing.
I think that you just need to use basic awareness, but I'm definitely guilty of doing that. Obviously, if there's a line of cars and it seems like the gas station is super busy, then you maybe shouldn't. But especially if there's other open pumps and you know what you're getting, it just feels like a lot more work to have to move the car.
But it's one of those things, I understand what you're saying, that, I'm only running in for a quick and nobody's here, but quick for you and quick for me. And then, you go in and, it happened to me in Hartford, went in to get a coffee. The line at Dunkin' was a little long. I'm like, oh, the heck with it. I come out, I got, and of course, I think I'm still in Williston. So, I shoot the person a dirty look and I'm in East Hartford. And my son quickly said, Dad, you're in East Hartford. You're not in Williston. So let's move.
It was when you started with, I'm in Hartford, Connecticut, not Vermont. I was like, oh, me. Yeah, no, there. I think you probably should have locked the car if you're going anywhere. You're lucky it wasn't stolen.
And I, of course, preface it with I was in East Hartford, not West Hartford, as those from the area know. The river divides the city, and West Hartford's a little bit easier to navigate than East Hartford.
Well, and I grew up in Glastonbury, which is right in between the two of them. I was on the East Hartford side, though, is what I always say. My dad was an electrician, right? We didn't have the Glastonbury money. But so my final answer is not trashy, only trashy if it's a very busy gas station and it's very clear that you should not leave your car there. But is it worse? You know how some pumps you can set it to just go? Could you just set it to go and then go in and do what you're supposed to do? Or are you really supposed to stay by your car?
I think that's against the law. leaving the pump. I believe there's great big signs on the pump that says "Do not leave your car."
I thought those great big signs are just a suggestion, not the rule. Well, that's when they say not to smoke at a gas station, and then I see people doing that.
Yeah, I live in the gray area, but even I, not that I'm a smoker, but even I wouldn't smoke at a gas pump.
Fair. Okay. I like it.
I do have to be honest. I always ask my family these trashy or not to make sure I'm not too far out there. And my daughter reminded me that we once went to get a coffee at a Dunkin' and there was no available parking spot. So I parked in front of a pump. I wasn't getting gas. I literally parked in front of the pump to go in and get coffee.
With no intentions of even getting gas. Not even all right, intention whatsoever. Act like you're doing it. No, just no, this is...
No, good enough spot for me.
I mean, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to get to that coffee.
Well, absolutely.
If you're smart, though, you order your coffee ahead while you're standing at the pump. So then they make it, and then you just go in and grab it, and then you are not leaving your car for that long.
Exactly. I'm with you there.
I love it. Anything else before we go for this week?
No. I think we hit a lot of the topics, and we have the common theme of making sure Vermonters are doing the right thing by recycling and composting and disposing of their construction debris the correct way, and we're here to help along the way.
Yep, and I love hearing some of the things it gets turned into. I know we've talked about shingles became the cart path at Rocky Ridge. That's kind of a wild thing, for people to see the full circle of that.
Absolutely.
All right. Make sure, as always, you share, and subscribe to the podcast so you get alerted every time a new one rolls out. You never know if it'll be just Joe and I talking a little trash, or maybe we'll have someone on to talk about giving back as well. that is the goal every week. And if we don't have someone, then we talk about it ourselves, giving back to our great state and not filling the landfill. Because when it's full, we got problems. And I learned last week that will happen in our lifetime. We'll see you all next week.